So I've just finished my 10th painting, and I want to show you guys around what I've created. And it's been a year. It's taken me a year to create all of these paintings. So that's the first one I did. Very strange. I'd never worked on canvas in my life, so I was very hesitant to start. But then I made the background really colorful and bright, and then put a bunch of hands and eyeballs like I always do. And it became this very eerie, strange little piece. And then what did I do? Then I did this one, which was much darker. I hadn't used any black in that previous one, so I said I'm going to use a lot of black, and I started with the strange alien clouds up there, and then I did the kind of weird head, like crystal head, and then I said I needed to do a full body, so I did a full body, and then these creatures started showing up, and the eyeball showed up in this beam of light, and so I don't know what any of my pieces mean, so don't ask me. Then I did this one. This took a long time and was all from my imagination. Didn't use any references. I generally try not to use references for my paintings, but sometimes I have to. But this one was fully imaginative, except for the mouths. I took pictures of my mouth and hands. So I did use references. But it ended up being this very strange creature, or creatures that are kind of floating towards the viewer. And I started with these screaming black mouths that I love to paint screaming mouths. I don't know why. Again, don't ask me. I don't know why or where my work comes from. It's my style. Then I did this one. And they all have names, but I don't name them myself. Thoth ends up kind of naming them, and yeah. So this is one of my favorites because it's more of a scene, and I really like that. I really like having an actual scene in a painting, and it takes a lot of work to actually create a scene. And so I started off with the background, and then I did this orb head, which took a week, I think, to paint, just the orb, and then the body, and then I started with the little castle over there, and the rainbow, and then I started to make kind of a world. And then I think I just had that big splotch of black paint back there, sitting there for a while, and I said, oh, let me put some teeth on it, and then at the very end I took a picture of my hand and painted my hand on there, which I really like. I really like how that looks. So I think this one's called Shadow Over the Crystal City. That's the name Thoth gave it. So this is one of my favorite pieces. And then this one. I love this one. I do love this one. This is called The Twins, I think. This took a long time. This was the first time I'd done images that were larger. Like, this is quite a large canvas, and it was just a lot of work. I didn't have big paintbrushes at the time, so it was really slow going to get the faces the size I wanted them to be, and I made them bigger and bigger, and to get the facial expressions and the angle of the heads right, because when something is looking slightly up, then you have foreshortening happening, and foreshortening is very, very, very hard to paint. So I went through many different versions of these faces to get them the way I wanted them to. But this one on this one, I really like in particular because the face itself is kind of, I just kind of accidentally made it darker than the background. So you almost see this thing of that it's shining from the back, and the other one is shining from the front. So I don't know how I did that. It's just, there's that highlight of yellow there going on, and it just kind of looks like it's being lighted from the back, which was not conscious. And then I really let myself go with the hair and the bodies and the earrings. I really had a lot of fun making the earrings, and the earrings alone took like a week or so to get each of them, all of them looking cool. And I could have gone much more hog wild with those, but I stopped. Yeah, the earrings were really fun because I was able to create some sense of that they were shiny, and I'd never done shiny, like made something look shiny with paint. And then I did this one. This one took quite a long time. I took breaks in between because we moved to this house, actually. Let me get closer. Yeah, it's very big. That's me there, and I think they're all different versions of me, and then some kind of thing of me having a dreamy like experience of some kind. I find it very cool that our house is full of my artwork. Okay, and then another big one up here. I'll show you. Oops. This one took a long time to make. This one took a long time because I started, actually this one I think I did before I did all of those faces, but it took longer because the background I initially did with a palette knife, and I really didn't like the thickness of the paint and how kind of garish the colors were, so I took a break on it for quite a long time, and then only recently did I start painting, and I still don't think it's finished. I might go back to it. I just signed it just now. But I actually, several of these have been used for album covers for our albums that we released on our Bandcamp page. So I wanted to really make this look the way I wanted it to, like, got that eye looking good. I got this, I love these faces, very realistic and also strange at the same time, and a bunch of eyeballs, of course. I love drawing eyes. I love drawing eyes and hands. And ever since I started drawing, and I realized that I can make really surreal looking artwork just by making, just taking body parts and abstracting them from the body. Like hands are floating outside of heads, eyes are just floating on their own somewhere. Things like that. I just find that doing that is a way that I just naturally can make these very abstract, surreal pieces. And then was actually getting tired of making all these very large canvas pieces, so I got several small canvases, and I just did this one pretty fast within a couple of days, and I really like my signature. I just put the signature on there. And then I did this one, which I really like. This one I actually really, really love because it's, I love the background colors, very interesting and strange. And then I just let myself kind of doodle, I guess you could say. Within that section, I just kind of did these weird patterns, and then these hands showed up, and then I did those orb eyeballs, and the skull kind of wanted to show up, and then the face, and then the hands, and then I painted the skull and the eyeball, and I really like this eyeball. It's very realistic. But I find that each piece I do, I get better and better every time I do a piece. It always surprises me and how different everyone is. And then this one. This is the one I just finished today. I really like this one a lot. Again, I don't know. The meaning is completely mysterious to me, as it is to the viewer. I painted this, I just painted this big blob of black paint there once I got the background, this very colorful background like I always do, and they said, let me use a bunch of black. And then I was debating between what I wanted the image to be, and then I said, well, I took a picture of my mouth and made another one of these screaming mouths, which I love to do. And then the eyeball wanted to come around, and then the hands. So that image alone took a couple of weeks maybe a month to get that whole image going. And then I took a break for a while, and then I just recently kind of finished this side of it. And it's all very strange. So all of my work is very surreal, as you can see. And I can't really say why it is. It's just, I think that's just me. I have this surreal mentality. I think I'm just crazy, probably. And I have this in me from my mother did like a lot of drugs long before I was born. She did a lot of LSD and like hundreds of hits of LSD. And my belief and false belief is that I have some of the remnants of that inside of me. If that makes sense. I've never done drugs in my life. I accidentally got high once on a marijuana gummy and totally tripped out and was seeing things and saw a unicorn being killed by a dragon in the sunset and all this stuff. And that wasn't supposed to happen. So it's, yeah, I don't do drugs. I'm not into any of that kind of stuff. And my work is just extremely surreal. And I don't know why. I'm not trying to make it like this. It just is. It just is what it is. And whenever I'm working on a piece, I'm always surprised when I step back and I go, God, it's so fucking surreal and so weird. I'm not trying to make it that way. It just is that way. So, but I'm really proud of myself. It's taken me 1 year to get to this point of creating 10 pieces of surreal art. And I took a few months off in between. So it didn't take that long, actually. But my goal is to get another 10 pieces done and then maybe do a showing or something somewhere, somehow, one of these days. We'll see. It's the joy is just having done it for myself.